Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news from Kevin McCarthy, news from China Lake, a report from the recent RPD DUI checkpoint, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News Crew.
I'm Tom Wicknick, and here's news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. In news from Washington and Congressman McCarthy's office, he has released the following statement. He is making the following points about liberal leaders in Sacramento and Washington and their willful blind support of the flawed California high-speed rail project. He says, California is a land with abundant resources that has given opportunity and hope to so many who came west to establish a new and better way of life. But the status quo is not always sustainable. Just because California is a land of plenty, it doesn't mean we can waste our resources and taxpayer dollars. But that is exactly what is being done with California high-speed rail, a project that takes time and money away from what is truly needed, like drought relief. Since being presented to the voters, California high-speed rail costs have exploded, ridership estimates have shrunk, and speed projections have been questioned when analyzed by engineers' brightest minds. At the same time, our state has endured the worst drought in a century that has been exacerbated by planning and judgment errors from government leaders. And years into the crisis, infrastructure and long-term solutions are nowhere to be seen. The big problem in California is that time and money that should be spent responding to the drought has instead been wasted on a boondoggle that most California residents don't even want. Residents up and down the high-speed rail route from blue-collar suburbs to city centers are coming out and protesting to the project, which would negatively affect dozens of schools, churches, and parks, along with thousands of homes. But the negative impacts stretch beyond areas near the tracks. Current estimates state that the high-speed rail project will cost over twice as much as the original plan voters approved in 2008. Private investment that was promised remains non-existent, and Republicans in Congress are committed to not putting another federal taxpayer dollar to this flawed project. Last week, the House of Representatives passed a transportation bill that blocks federal funding for the California high-speed rail project. Since taking the majority in the House, Republicans have been committed to ensuring hardworking Americans' tax dollars aren't wasted on projects that don't reflect today's reality or tomorrow's potential. But just imagine what could be done if the energy used in pursuit of this fundamentally flawed project was instead used to help relieve the drought. Water storage projects that never got off the ground could have actually been built, and more water could be flowing to people's homes, farms, and neighborhoods. Former Representative Tom Campbell has the right idea, and put it very simply in the OC Register. He said, California should take the money going to Governor Jerry Brown's train and use it to build more water storage. If the governor did that, we could take advantage of the next rainstorms and the winter snowpack to make sure Californians get the water they need, not the train nobody wants. Sincerely, Congressman Kevin McCarthy. In news from China Lake, Brian Wolfcoat from the NOC-WD Public Affairs Office has submitted this news. There recently was a NOC-WD Raytheon Employee Exchange. NOC-WD has added Raytheon Space and Airborne Systems to the exchange roster. The Naval Air Warfare Center Weapons Division and Raytheon Employee Exchange, an exercise in which working-level employees take turns touring facilities and shadowing their government industry counterparts, invited members from Space and Airborne Systems aboard Naval Air Weapons Station, China Lake, California, for the first time on May 19th. The blend of missile systems and space and airborne systems that we saw here today was the first, said Jody Jondal, Raytheon Site Exchange Project Lead. In 2013, we wanted to add another business unit. Systems and Space and Airborne Systems made the most sense because they collaborate on a ton of projects out here. An executive committee consisting of Weapons Division and Raytheon Missile Systems Management launched the exchange over 7 years ago. The committee found that their periodic meetings mitigated potential roadblocks in joint projects and strengthened communications. Everything flows better when we can talk at the working level, said Gerald Powell, NOC-WD's Site Exchange Project Lead. People at the engineering levels are solving problems before they reach management crisis level. These inevitable and generally smaller issues are being resolved because our engineers are keeping and making use of their new contacts. Weapons Division personnel left for Raytheon site in Tucson, Arizona on May 20th. By having these exchanges, the government ultimately solves problems when they come up, versus discovering a problem late in a project development. This results in a savings of time and cost. This is a win for everyone, especially the warfighter. The goal is to provide the warfighter the best product, quicker and cheaper. In more news from China Lake, they have announced a special event at the golf course celebrating Father's Day. They have declared that on June 21st, Sunday, Father's Day, at China Lake Golf Course, dads that bring their kids to golf for free. Open to all dads that bring their kids and have a base access. This is a great event to celebrate Father's Day and to encourage kids and fathers spending quality time together. Great idea, China Lake. In news from the Ridgecrest Police Department, they released statistics from a recent DUI checkpoint. The Ridgecrest Police Department conducted a DUI checkpoint on Friday, 6/13. The location of the checkpoint was at the 200 block of South China Lake Boulevard. It went from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. A total of 540 vehicles were screened at the location. One driver was issued a citation for not having a valid driver's license. 5 people were given field sobriety tests. All were cleared. No arrests were made during the checkpoint. The Ridgecrest Police Department considers the use of DUI, driver's license checkpoints, to be effective in detecting and removing impaired drivers from the road. The checkpoint was funded by a grant from the Office of Traffic Safety through the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The police department provides the following statistics. In California, driving under the influence led to 802 deaths because someone failed to designate a sober driver. Alcohol and drug-impaired deaths still make up the largest category of overall vehicle fatalities in 2012, with 29% of all deaths caused by a drunk driver. A DUI checkpoint is a proven effective method to lower these numbers. Additionally, drivers were checked to ensure that they have a valid driver's license. The Ridgecrest Police Department reminds everyone that they can assist in preventing this crime from ever occurring. If you are planning a gathering or celebration with alcohol included, or if you're out of town, plan ahead and designate a non-drinking sober driver. A DUI and drug-impaired arrest can cost up to $10,000 or even more, including jail time, the loss of your driver's license, and high insurance rates. And that doesn't include the financial and emotional damage you'll go through if you drive while intoxicated and injure or kill another person. It is equally important not to get into a vehicle with a driver who has been drinking. It's not worth it. Don't drive while under the influence of any alcohol or drugs. Plan ahead and designate a non-drinking driver. And remember, report drunk drivers. Call 911. Stay tuned for news from the City Council when we come back. Welcome back. In City Council news, a couple weeks ago, the city announced that Rachel McQuiston, the city's current finance director, would be leaving July 1st for a new job in Northern California. At last Wednesday's council meeting, Dennis Spear, city manager, announced that he had made an offer to former city finance officer Terrell Staley. Terrell has accepted the offer. He had worked in the city finance department for a few years before leaving in 2012. He had even been the finance director. He is expected to start around July 7th. He has been appointed as a provisional employee, which means that it is a position that is at will and can be terminated at any time. And the position will end after 6 months or until a formal recruitment and appointment is made. The provisional appointment could be extended by the City Council. He will be classified as an exempt employee and receive a salary of $112,000 per year. This is a critical time of the year that the city have a finance director. They are in the final stages of purchasing a new financial management software system. Here's the final reminder to everyone that the Ridgecrest Lions Club and Knights of Columbus are doing a fundraiser bingo event to support the July 4th fireworks display. Tomorrow, Saturday, this is their major event for the year. They need financial help from all of us to make the fireworks display great. The bingo event will be tomorrow, June 20th at Kerr McGee Center at 100 West California Street. Bingo begins at 10 a.m. The cost is $5 for 5 games. After the opening set of games, there will be more game sessions as well. For info, contact Lion Steve Morgan, 760-375-2715, or Michael Lewis at 760-217-9015. They are also looking for sponsors for the fireworks. If you'd like to donate, let them know. Call them for more info. Again, this bingo event will be tomorrow, June 20th at Kerr-McGee Center. KZGN just had an opportunity to talk to Bob Campbell from the China Lake Museum. He has made us aware that their plans to move into the building across the street from Ridgecrest Regional Hospital has been canceled. He says that while there were negotiations as to the move, that the negotiations have broken down. The museum wanted to be there at least 5 years and maybe even 10 years. This apparently conflicted with future plans for the hospital. The hospital did go ahead with the purchase, and it appears the hospital wants to ultimately move some functions of the hospital into the building. No hard plans have been announced by the hospital yet. So as of now, the China Lake Museum is back to negotiating with Kern County to use land next to Matarango Museum to build a new facility. Bob insists the goal is still to get the museum off base to improve access for the public. And locating the China Lake Museum next to another museum is really a good idea. Stay tuned for updates. The Democratic Club of the High Desert shall hold their monthly brunch meeting tomorrow, Saturday, June 20th, at 10:30 a.m. at Charlie's Restaurant, located in the Clarion Inn on North China Lake Boulevard. The visiting guest speaker shall be Elks Club member Connie Elmer. Connie will be soliciting input from the Democratic Club of the High Desert members on behalf of the annual Christmas parade. Everyone is welcome to attend. There is no admission fee. Buying your own brunch or drink is optional. For information, contact Matthew Alexander at 760-382-3878. In news from the Kern County Library, Library Ridgecrest Branch Library Summer Reading Program is in full swing. According to the Associate for Youth Services, Carissa Wagner, Indian Kern will offer the summer reading program out of the Indian Kern Elementary with the help of volunteers from Indian Kern Elementary staff. The summer reading program carries both a reading and theme challenge. This year, the event is themed Read to Rhythm. Readers are encouraged to select books incorporating a music theme. Last year, the theme was Pause to read, where readers incorporated animals in their reading. The program is designed for children, teens, and adults. Each level reads 10 books to start. Once accomplished, they can come in and pick up free books provided by the Friends of Kern County Library. They also get a finisher bag at an appropriate age level. Items in the bag have been donated by Friends of the Ridgecrest Branch Library, and a variety of coupons and donations from the generosity of local Ridgecrest businesses, including Pizza Factory, Baskin-Robbins, Taco Bell, McDonald's, and Little Caesars. The City of Ridgecrest Parks and Recreation Department donated a one-day, one-time pass to the pool. According to Wagner, Pizza Factory coupons are in all bags in combination with other incentive coupons for finishing participants. This year, we're actually doing something a little different, Wagner said. Once people finish the initial 10-book goal, all readers can continue reading and enter a drawing for further prizes. Everyone who reads additional books can participate in the drawing to win. Drawing contributions were made by Indian Wells Brewery, TJ Frisbee, Red Rock Books, Little Caesars, Pure Healing Foods, the Matarango Museum, and Albertson's China Lake. The deadline to sign up for the reading program is July 31st. The Ridgecrest Branch Library honors finishers to August 12th. Between 250 and 300 participants are anticipated. Early finishers get best incentive goodie bags due to limited supply. The Ridgecrest Branch Library hours Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are 11 to 7, Friday and Saturday from 9 to 5. The Indian Kern Elementary School Library opens from 9 a.m. to 12 noon every Wednesday in June and July. Now, in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's local gas prices. Well, I'm happy to report that since Wednesday, prices locally and abroad are going down slightly again. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $3.33 to $3.89. Lancaster is ranging from $3.39 to $3.79. The LA Valley area is ranging from $3.35 to $3.59, and the Bishop area is $3.68 to $3.83. We have one station at the $3.33 amount and 4 stations coming in at the $3.35 figure. Tune in with us Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay sales tax out of town, you are helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Stay tuned for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, severe weather is possible across portions of the northern plains. Damaging winds is a primary threat, but large hail is also possible. The remnants of Tropical Depression Bill will continue to bring widespread rainfall and the potential of flash flooding as it moves into the Ohio Valley. Temperatures across the nation. Massachusetts came in at 82, Carolinas 91, Kansas 83, Colorado 89, New Mexico 85, Arizona 105, Idaho 79, San Francisco 63, and Los Angeles came in at 67. Now for our weekend forecast for the IWV. Tonight will be clear with a low around 72, south-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday will be sunny and hot with a high near 109, calm wind south 5 miles per hour. Saturday night will be clear with a low around 71, west-southwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. And on Father's Day, Sunday, will be sunny and hot with a high near 106, west wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night will be clear around 72, breezy with a west wind 15 to 25 miles per hour. And on Monday, it will be sunny and hot again with a high near 103, southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. And that is your local forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom and the rest of your KZGN News.
Thanks, Keith. Let's go to Tom Heck for the sports.
And a pleasant Friday afternoon to everybody. A lot going on this week in the world of sports. College World Series resumes tonight. It's going to be Vanderbilt and Florida. I think the two teams that, when things get settled, will play for the championship, but we'll have to see. Cal State Fullerton was eliminated earlier in the week. Cal State Fullerton had a 3-1 lead going into the ninth inning and gave up a 3-run home run, and they lost to Vanderbilt. Then Cal State Fullerton had another heartbreaking game against LSU the next day. They led in that game 3-0, and they end up losing 5-3. They were the first team out of the tournament this year. That was Fullerton's 17th trip to the World Series in Omaha. Okay, also the U.S. Open will begin this weekend up in Washington. First time they've ever been there. Tiger Woods, a long shot, but he's in the field. We'll see what happens when those guys get done over the weekend. We'll have the results for you on Monday. All right, baseball, big weekend for a lot of folks. Everybody in action. The Angels won yesterday. They beat Arizona 7-1 out in the desert. The Angels tonight open up 3 games against the Oakland A's up at the McAfee Coliseum in Oakland. The Angels start play today 5.5 games behind the Houston Astros. The Astros are on a 4-game win streak. They defeated Colorado all 4 games. The first 2 were down in Houston, and they came up to Colorado and beat the Rockies twice. So the Astros, after losing 7 in a row, have kind of righted the ship, and they're kind of right back on that course they were at a few weeks ago. The Angels and Astros will hook up in about 10 days in Anaheim for 3 games. That should be a very good series this year. It looks like the American League West is going to have 3 teams probably battling it out to the end. The Angels, Houston, and the Texas Rangers as playing very well. And speaking of the Rangers, they took 3 of 4 games from the Dodgers this week. They won the first 2 games down in Arlington. They came into Los Angeles. They won that first game, and then last night they finally dropped a game 1-0 to the Dodgers. The Dodgers will open up 3 games tonight in LA against their nemesis, the San Francisco Giants. The Giants start play 2.5 games behind the Dodgers for first place in the National League West. All right, real quick, the Yankees swept the doubleheader yesterday against the Marlins. Well, the big story there, though, Alex Rodriguez, who many gave up for dead, they never thought he'd play again, now has 2,999 hits, 1 away from 3,000, which is a very elite club of just a few Major League Baseball players. We'll see what happens, how soon A-Rod can do it. He also this week came up with over his 3,000th RBI. So Alex Rodriguez, a guy that maybe or maybe so doesn't deserve to be playing right now after being suspended last year, has really come back strong. Props to him. Okay, yesterday the Astros won. As mentioned, they beat Colorado 8-4. Pittsburgh won again. They beat Chicago. Kansas City leading the American League Central. They beat Milwaukee. Detroit and Cincinnati were rained out. Boston beat Atlanta. Boston and Atlanta split the 4-game series. Toronto beat the Mets. Those two split their 4 games also. Toronto had won 12 games in a row before losing 2 to New York, and they've won the last 2. Tampa Bay beat the Nationals. Tampa Bay, as we start play today, is in first place in the American League East. Okay, Bryce Harper got hurt. Washington Nationals lose yesterday to Philadelphia, and also the Twins beat the Cardinals. Okay, let's take a look. Hopefully Joy will have those posted up there of the American League right now standings. As we look at the East, boy, the Rays 37-30. Now at one time they were 5 games below 500. They've played very well. The Yankees have 35 wins right now, and they're playing actually much better than they were a week ago. The Jays 36-32. The Jays had lost 9 games in a row. Then they went on a winning streak and put on 12 games in a row. The Orioles now starting to play better, 34-32. So those teams that started out not so well, doing much better now. Over in that Central, the Royals and Twins are going to fight it out. The Royals 37 wins, Twins 36, and the Tigers 34. Justin Verlander has returned to the team out west. As mentioned, Houston, Texas, and the Angels all right there at the top, and hopefully, I hope Houston stays up there. I'd like to see them compete to the very end with the Angels and the much improved Texas Rangers. Folks, that's your very busy baseball schedule, standings. I'm Tom Heck. Have a good weekend for KZGN Sports.
So that's the news for today. Well, office at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing us, KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. And from one father to all the fathers out there, have a great Father's Day weekend.